Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning. Got an outstanding broadcast actually lineup for you this morning. We got a topic, but we got something that we got to talk about before we get to the topic of the day. But before we cross that hurdle, I got to say good morning to everybody in this. I got to say good morning to I got the gentleman in here with me this morning, and this is Captain Leonard. This is my brother from another mother, but we got the same father. This is Captain Leonard. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem and the Morning Glow family.
Good deal, good deal. Hold on now. I think we got it. Ain't Badger, my brother from another mother, but we got the same father. Badger, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Another blessed and beautiful day.
Good deal, good deal. Now, it's a lot of things that we could talk about. Let me go down my list. King Kalku. I hope I said that right. Good morning, Jose. Good morning to Motown. Good morning to Jesse. Good morning. I'm trying to catch a few of y'all as y'all come in. So good morning to each and every one of y'all this morning. Hope you all are having a fantastic day. Hope you all are having a fantastic day. Now, Captain Leonard. Today is
hmm
January. Today is January the 6th. It's been exactly 1 year since the whole situation happened at the Capitol building. What have we learned? How have we grown? What has transpired since that time, Leonard? A year later.
Well, I think what we have noticed a year later is pretty much what it must have been like during right after the Civil War
Mm.
in terms of who's on what side.
Mm-hmm.
And it has definitely been proven that the majority of the side that support January the 6th incidents are
Mm-hmm.
still about that business.
Mm-hmm.
And that our government is extremely weak and they have not done enough to send a sign to anyone who's thinking about trying to overthrow the American government.
Mm-hmm.
There are crazy extremists among us who will do anything, regardless of if it's right or wrong or for the best of Americans,
Mm-hmm.
just because they are overly emotional and one, they are really supporting chaos.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to be very careful, and not just at this level of government, but all the way down to local governments. You can see sympathizers with this type of behavior, even elected officials
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that are co conspired with this particular type of movement. And the Attorney General is the person to
Wow.
watch
Yes.
and how he approaches what has happened. He needs to be leading the charge to treat these people as any enemy combatants of the United States, as they would have treated any person that was a part of ISIS or any other faction across the globe. And for some reason, they're failing to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these little minor ones that they get here and there, but no, we need to go after those individuals who are working on behalf to persuade the military and other branches of government to participate
Mm-hmm.
in overthrowing the President of the United States.
Wow. Leonard, I wonder, and I say that for actually for the sake of the conversation, but I wonder where would we be? Let me say it that way. Where would we be at this point, 1 year later, had it been a Black Lives Matter or something of that magnitude that did what was done on that day? Where would we be right now?
Well, first of all, that never was an mission or an objective of anybody associated with Black Lives Matter.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So it was all done to cover up what the real extremists were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so once they could not hide behind Black Lives Matter, that's when it became very important for the government should have taken action against these people.
Mm-hmm.
And they should have came at them with full force of the American government. They have had no problem abusing authority to go after the least of African Americans.
Mm-hmm.
But when placed with all of this, now people act as if they have forgotten what justice looks like and what we have been doing in other countries. We know what to do with people that try to overthrow governments. But who's to say? Maybe because these people are majority white and Republican and they have allies in the state, in the Senate, in the judiciary.
Mm-hmm.
The American government has been compromised
Mm-hmm.
right in front of your face.
Yeah. No, and no excuses made.
No, not at all. And then it just bothers me that it seems like some white folks have a problem doing the right thing when the perpetrators are white.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of the major problems
Mm-hmm.
because they wouldn't have hesitated to punish people of melanated people.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would have been a done deal by the 10th. Everybody would have been locked up and preparing to be charged
Mm-hmm.
with some of the greatest sentences we've probably ever seen,
Mm-hmm.
if not just shot down on the steps.
Wow.
So you better do what you can to get these old wicked people out of office that believe that they own this government.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Badger, what do you is 1 year later, Badger? Is one and we got our call on the phone lines. We're coming to you in just 1 second. But Badger, it's been 1 year. It's 1 year later, 1 year to the day. Last year, January the 6th, on my birthday. And I hate that it had to happen on my birthday, but it did. January the 6th, a year later. We're a year in. Badger, what have we learned? What has transpired? Has enough justice been laid out to the people that perpetrated this horrible act? What do you say, Badger?
Yeah, no. Um, just the thought of it in general. They were supposed to do all kinds of like investigations and stuff like that, and a lot of it's just been kind of put to the wayside
Mm-hmm.
about what really happened. All kinds of stories and different things like that. I actually met a lady that told me what happened while she was there, and she had photos and everything of them like just moving to the side, telling them to go in,
Mm. Wow.
and she got visitors that came to her place of residence to take all the photos she had and stuff like that.
Mm.
And
So they pretty much gave him almost like an open door policy. Go ahead on in. Go ahead, do what you're gonna do.
pretty much, or at least from all the information I've gathered.
Mm.
So it's just one of those things why, like, and they've worked very hard to make sure that none of that stuff came out. It'll probably
Mm-hmm.
come out in another couple of years. It always does. It always just takes a while, and then people are no longer upset about it, so they'll just look at it and go, okay, and then that's it.
Mm. Wow.
So as far as I'm concerned, not a lot's changed in some ways. There's still people struggling every day. There's misdirections and illusions as always. I'm still waiting for things to be done for the American people as a whole,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
from top to bottom.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I guess anybody knew, man. This is the big elephant in the room, man. On this day, 1 year ago, January 6th, 1 year ago, 2021, this is what happened. And it's been 1 year later. I'm gonna go to the phone line. And the phone lines are open if you want to be a part of the conversation. We got quite a few people that's tuning in. We love to have you as a part of the conversation. Give us a call, 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We love to have your input. 1 year later, what is different? What has happened? What has improved? What have we learned? Have we advanced any in that year? In that 365 days, have anything changed? We know what happened on the 6th. There's videos of things that happened on the 6th. Have enough justice been laid down because of what happened on January the 6th? 1 year later. Toussaint, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Doing well. Good morning.
What do you say? What do you say to that, brother? It's been a year now, man. It's been 1 year. Whole year. 1 whole year. What have we learned? What is different?
No, nothing and none. Nothing and none. When you learn nothing, there is no difference.
Wow.
This has been going on, you said 365 days?
Yes, sir.
How about the last 365 years?
Mm.
You don't see it? You missing it? Happy birthday, by the way.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
You legal. You should be legal by now.
Well, I got another half a year to go before I'm actually legal, but you know we're working on it.
Okay. Well, it's sometimes it's not even good to be legal.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's when the trouble starts. That's when the trouble starts.
Ain't nothing changed. Ain't nothing changed. I heard something. What made me call in is what Devin said was we know what to do with people that do things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And my question would be, we, who is that?
Mm-hmm.
When the we as a whole in this country will not do right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because some of the we is them.
Come on.
Remember how long was it prior to January 6th when there was another group of people in the same place and they couldn't get close?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So who is we?
Mm-hmm.
Because I guarantee you, if they were them same different set of people, the different set of we would have decided, okay, we're gonna break these barriers down and we're gonna bum rush the place.
Mm-hmm.
100 years later, our children would have been talking about a massacre.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You better believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's been some other massacres right there on for public eye to see.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really. I mean, to the point where the government get in on it. I don't know where them planes comes from when the Oklahoma thing was. I don't know uh, uh, who dug the hole and put the city in the ground and covered it up with water
Mm-hmm.
in so many different places that I didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And hush fills the room because we find out that the we ain't us, it's them.
Mm-hmm.
Just say.
Leonard, what do you say to that, brother? He's making a lot of valid points.
Specifically, what, Raheem?
Well, he talked about the we. Who is the we? Because he talked about, like, even here in Atlanta, Lake Lanier. Everybody know that that's one of the examples that he was talking about, where they flooded the city with water.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the people that was destroyed in those particular places had a vast similarity to you and I.
But what did you do to try to stop it?
There you go. Let's
That's
talk
the
about
question.
that.
That
Let's
is the
talk.
question.
Mm-hmm.
I don't talk about how great other people are.
Mm-hmm.
Things I don't agree with, I fight back on.
Come on.
So if you're not fighting back, what you doing?
Mm-hmm.
You're allowing it to get
Spectator.
worse. You're allowing it to get worse.
Mm-hmm.
You're not on post. You're allowing the thieves to come in and just destroy the temple
Mm-hmm.
on your watch.
Mm.
So shame on those that do nothing. Shame on those that don't stand up in their workplaces, don't stand up in the synagogues, don't stand up in the mosque, don't
Mm-hmm.
stand up nowhere for what is right, but think it's just going to somehow, righteousness is going to just seep out of the ground somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's a people that should be righteous. It's a people that should be fighting for what is right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a part of those people. We are those who fight against the wicked.
Mm-hmm.
We fight them everywhere. We don't just pick what's on TV or couch politics and all that. We fight. If we had a fight in the street, we'll fight in the street.
Mm-hmm.
We'll fight to our death for what is right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
Mm.
we won't be taking any prisoners.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't get if you don't want to do what is right and you prefer wickedness and chaos, you are the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Plain and simple as that.
And no two ways about it.
No, we ain't sitting around blaming nobody else on why they ain't do nothing. We gonna have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Stop looking for other people to be right when you should be right yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So to always sit around and talk about and watching this show that these people are putting on, it's not the way to be. We need everybody. Every single decent human being.
Mm-hmm.
Because the wicked are always going to be there. And you don't have to trick them into showing up. You don't have to do anything. They love their wickedness so much, they'll do whatever they got to do to keep power.
And defend it with everything that they have. And defend it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And you can't sit there and say, well, maybe no, maybe nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You saw what they did. You see what people support. That is who they are. If you can't answer a question righteously, you're not righteous. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people, yeah, we all have our opinions or what have you, but if your opinion is ridiculous, that's just what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I don't like some people say, why can't I get no support? Well, because your opinion is ridiculous. That's why.
Ain't nobody walking with
And
that.
there's not enough people to support your opinion. We're not saying
Mm-hmm.
people are perfect and it's up to everybody else to be so clean and so perfect and so righteous. No. We just need functional, capable people with an objective mission that
Mm-hmm.
helps solve issues for the masses of people. Not just the people you like, not just the people who go to your church or anything like that. It's for the
Mm-hmm.
masses of people that value democracy, that value self representation.
Mm-hmm.
You got to participate. If you don't, you just in the way.
Leonard, what do you say to the individuals, man, that as ridiculous as it sounds, I'm just waiting on it to get a little more momentum, and then I'm gonna join in when they get the momentum that it needs, and then we're gonna go ahead on it. We're gonna take over this thing. I'm waiting on it to get some momentum. What are you waiting on? Momentum.
You're not to be trusted.
Exactly.
You don't care who got momentum. You don't care
Mm-hmm.
what side you on.
Mm-hmm.
You don't care. That's why you
Mm.
wind up with black Republic. That's how you wind up with black Republicans. You get to sit back just long enough. But if you think wickedness gonna win, you go right over there and join wickedness
Mm-hmm.
just to win. You don't
Mm.
fight for what's right. You don't fight for what's right. You're not a true fighter.
A lot of time, and I'm going to badger, but a lot of time, Leonard, people fight for right now. What's right now,
Hmm.
and they don't see that there's a journey ahead of you. There's a journey ahead that people should more or less pay attention to. But it's right now.
Yeah,
And we talked about this before. Are you in the movement or the moment? And a lot of time people are just in the moment and they want to fight for what's going on at that moment. Has nothing to do with the movement. Go ahead, Leonard.
but you know, and I see how hopefully, you see a lot of things that people put in social media about this being a new year, and the
Mm-hmm.
need to really purge these so-called friends that don't behave like friends.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that concept alone, who you have to think about who you're associating with, the
Mm-hmm.
boards that you sit on, those public and private entities that you're a part of. Really, who are you? What are you doing each and every day? What would you like to see? Do you
Mm-hmm.
really care about the homelessness? Everybody don't care about homelessness.
Yeah.
Everybody don't care about sex trafficking. Now, if you put on a TV program, they'll watch it for entertainment purposes.
Mm-hmm.
But what are they going to do about it? You can pick up,
Nathan.
you can go to any news in any state just about and find out about children being neglected and everything each and every day in America.
Mm-hmm.
In America, each and every day.
Mm-hmm.
But there are people even justifying that.
Mm.
They don't even think about, oh, that's the other people problem, and why should we get involved? Why shouldn't you get involved in
Exactly.
stopping sex trafficking? And then not even addressing the fact is that some officials, people who are actually within our government that are supporting these things.
Mm-hmm.
You
Not
know,
only not only supporting it, but participating in it.
yes.
Mm-hmm. I mean, let's tell the whole truth. Not only supporting it, they're participating in it.
I mean, it's not uncommon at
Mm-hmm.
all. But you have people who are looking the other way. Oh, this ain't got nothing to do with me. Why should I vote? Why should I get involved? Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Why not? How you think you got running water to your house?
Mm-hmm.
How
Come
you
on.
think you got electricity to your house? How do you think you got that road in front of your house? How do you think you support them trucks that's delivering mail to you every day?
Mm-hmm.
That's government.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly.
So you in it, but is you just being a freeloader? Like you say,
Leech.
you waiting until it get bigger to do what?
Mm-hmm.
What you waiting for it to get bigger for? So you could say you was with the crowd.
A leech. You just a lot of time people are just leeches, man, and leeches they consume everything but give back nothing. They leeches.
Exactly.
Let me go to my phone line. Curtis, good morning, Curtis. How you doing this morning?
Hey, fellas, what's going on, man?
Hey,
Love, what's going on, bro?
hey, what's going on with you, Curtis? Good to have you this morning, brother. We talking about the elephant in the room, man. It's January. Today's January 6th. It's been 1 year. 1 year since the situation happened at the Capitol building. Curtis, how have we advanced? How we advanced? What is different? And what have we learned from that whole situation?
I don't even know how to answer that question, especially not in 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Listen, man, I got 2 words. I got 2 words, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have these words on my heart, man, for the rest of my life, man. For the rest of my life. All I'm gonna say to that man is Ruby Freeman, man. That's all I'm gonna say right here. Man, listen. What happened today, a year ago, man? If folks don't, if folks ain't never believed what black folk been saying all this time, then you just plain dumb. You ain't. I'm not even gonna tell you go sit in the clown car. You ain't even in the clown car. You still backstage somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't even put the red nose on. Man, I got 2 words right here. Ruby Freeman, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
Doing research, and I have something to respond to Kurt. I mean, the stuff that's been done to natives and what natives have been trying to tell people since pretty much the beginning of the United States. they haven't listened yet. And we
Mm-hmm.
can sure hope that tomorrow they will. You know, I was doing some research on what's going on today, like what different things and what people are discussing and talking about. And uh, there was a comment that was made by Dashell of extraordinary impact that disinformation and the use of algorithms and social media has had. It is as dangerous as anything since we created the atomic bomb.
Mm.
And I'm sitting here thinking about that. I'm like, finally, someone that's up in the office actually talking about disinformation and the use of algorithms and social media.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but for whose point of view, though, is my question. Are they
Mm-hmm.
just talking about it for the side that they don't like, or are they actually talking about it as a whole?
Mm.
Um, like it's just, and apparently Biden to criticize Trump, warning of threats to the diplomacy on January 9th anniversary. I mean January 6th, university.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and now it's being called a deadly attack.
A deadly attack.
Yeah, I'm looking at what is it? NBC News is President Joe Biden will mark the anniversary of the deadly January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol with a speech Thursday, taking aim at former Donald Trump's involvement at the riot and warning the ongoing threats to the
Mm-hmm.
DEMOCRACY. And I'm sitting here going,
Democracy. Mm-hmm.
what?
Mm-hmm. Do you think Badger, do you think Trump had anything to do with the whole activities that went on the 6th? I'm gonna come to you, Tucson, after Badger Johnson. I want to ask you the same question. Do you think Trump had anything to do with what happened on January the 6th?
In the perspective of some people, due to his word usage, I could see how the thought could be implied into people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
But because of the way I process things, I'm not a sheeple. So if someone told me directly to go attack the White House, I'd probably look at him and go, what? And why?
Mm-hmm.
It just, what point would it serve other than just pissing off a lot of people?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I guess it depends on where a person's mental's at, because a lot of people that to me, Trump showed America how corrupt the government is,
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
and where some of the American society mentally is at. For people to think it's all right to grope a woman in public and other things like that disturbs me.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Likewise. Likewise. Tucson, do you think Trump had anything to do with what happened on the 6th?
What does it matter what I think? Um, because when I listen, it seems like sometimes we think that he deserves some kind of applause for um, the way that he conducts himself to expose others when he's just as corrupt.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, um, I don't know how. I should have waited. I should have waited till that echo. Um, until this conversation was over with, because
Mm-hmm.
whether here's what I think: whether you raise hell, whether you protest, whatever you do, continues to go on. Whether you
Mm-hmm.
stand up or you sit back, it still goes on. And then we have this type of person that comes up, and evidently, to me, he's guilty of sin.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to give him some kind of award rather than incriminating him like he deserves the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and I don't mean anything about what I'm going to say personally about it, but this is the thing that we don't want to piss nobody off. We stay pissed off.
Mm-hmm. In the
We
midst
just
of,
walk around.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we just walk around being the ones that's pissed off
Mm-hmm.
because we don't want to piss the ones that's guilty and need to be incarcerated and need to spend the rest of their life in jail and do without, like we do without. We trying to make it while they achieve, and at the end of the day, they sit up in Congress and they wind up sitting in a meeting and say, by the way, let's give everybody a raise.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then
Wow.
we sit back pissed off because we don't want to piss nobody off.
Mm. Wow.
Don't you get tired of being pissed off?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I almost said so.
It almost came out there, brother. It almost came out. Curtis, what do you say to that, brother? Um, everybody is saying that more should have been done. Had it been another organization or another group, um, watch this. What if the Kurt, are you there?
I'm right here.
What if that would have been a group of Muslims that stormed the White House, the Capitol building on the 6th, and Farrakhan was leading them. Though it could have been peaceful, more peaceful than what it was then, what would have been the outcome? What would we be talking about today, a year later?
Right here.
Come on.
If that would have been Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam,
Mm-hmm.
they wouldn't even have made it past the mall. What you mean?
Mm.
Come on, we know better than that. They wouldn't have made it past the mall. And I have to interject this because I've heard it before, and I have a very strong opinion on it. Listen, I've heard people say, especially his supporters, he showed us the corruption in government.
Mm-hmm.
Like as if he showed you an admirable thing. Listen, Donald just said it. He showed you the corruption in government by being corrupt. So that makes him right.
Mm.
If they're not going to give you a pass, you shouldn't get him a pass. Now, y'all remember when we was coming up, now think about it, let's just be honest, when we was coming up, most of the dope boys that we know, what was the thing that sealed their fate with the federal government? What was the thing that sealed their fate? The court case might have been weak as all get out, but what was that one charge that the big willies would catch that automatically they was going to prison? Do y'all remember what that charge was?
Was it conspiracy?
It was conspiracy.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a conspiracy charge.
Mm-hmm.
I know, bruh. I got homies that's still in the Fed joint, and they went back in '85. As far as the drugs, they done served the time for the drugs. Guess why they ain't home? Because of that conspiracy charge.
Mm.
Man, listen. Don't fall for that. Don't fall for that. All he did was he was too arrogant, too ignorant, and too rich to understand. No, sir. There is a point in accountability that you must be held to. And even if these people that's supporting you is not going to hold you to that, the American people will at some point, to some degree, hold you accountable for that. We not going to flip nothing and twist it up and make it sound confusing and overanalyze it. Yes, he's completely and fully responsible for January 6th, 2021. He'd been telling you he was going to do that since way before January 6th, 2021. If you go back and you watch the Rachel Maddow show from the day before yesterday, she had the whole conversation, the telephone conversations from January 4th. If you listen to Narvo, which was his cabinet, which was his chief of staff, I think it was, Narvo just came on public TV and fully admitted that him, Trump, and Steve Bannon planned this whole thing. Not he wrote an op-ed, not a reporter wrote an op-ed talking about they had an interview with Narvo, how do you say his last name? No, Raheem, he came on national TV and openly admitted that all of this was planned. What he said was, we planned all of this, but we did not know it was going to get out of hand. So that's why I'm going to end like this. That's like, I sat down with y'all and I say, look, y'all, First National, they only got one guard. He only there from 3 to 11 p.m., right? That vault has anywhere from $10 to $15 million in it at a time. We're going to hit them at 9 a.m. We're going to take guns in. Nobody load one round into the chamber. We're not shooting nobody. We just going in, getting the money, leaving the bank. We go in the bank, little kid in the bank with a balloon. The balloon get loose, it float up, boom, it hit something. Pop! Next thing you know, L-Dog done ducked the whole clip. Pop, 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 pop. People hurt. People killed. Am I not responsible for that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Without a shadow of a doubt. Man. Without a doubt. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother? Is Donald Trump, is he responsible for what happened on January the 6th?
Yes, because he was president of the United States, and it has been proven that he supported this type of behavior. You know, I mean, I believe, for anyone to support him almost is just like supporting the Confederacy at that time. And we have to understand, what this government is capable of. Remember the notions of separate but equal. Let's not act like this ain't in our history and what could happen with a person who believes in white supremacy. That is what this is about. And it is about motivating that base who is still ignorant that way when it comes to race issues. This is why he is able to build this following, just like any other psychopath.
Let me say this to you, and I agree with what, and I see where you're going with it, man. But let me ask you this question: racism is something that is embedded deep in certain individuals' hearts. How do you get it out? I mean,
I don't really care if it comes out or not, but I'm more for stopping their hearts from beating.
Wow, kill
them. No. Let them kill themselves. But they need to be removed from power. A lot of them need to be incarcerated, and there need to be laws against people that support this.
Mm-hmm.
These people did this thing. They didn't. It's not no if. They did this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so we don't have to if it at all. The evidence of what they did is there. It would not have been accepted by any other faction in the United States or any other interest group in the United States. Why this one?
Mm-hmm.
It is because so many people on the inside who are in government to support it. Because so many police officers support it. Because so many governors support it. Because so many mayors support it. Because of so many people in power who are willing to go along with a wicked ruler as long as they get something out of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Same thing with any corrupt entity. It ain't just one person. It's not just one person. And one, it's so easy. I don't watch a lot of that type of news, but to find out who the characters are. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times I go back and I read issues and who these people are. And this is, yeah, I understand why they're doing what they're doing because that's what they've always done.
Mm-hmm.
By hook
And
or crook,
insane.
you still got Ted Cruz and his foolishness still talking about trying to impeach Biden.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we got to do more than just talk about it. We got to be about it. These
Mm-hmm.
people would support segregation. These people would support all types of Jim Crow arrangements.
Mm-hmm.
And then you wonder why there's such a divide because, some white folk don't want to talk about it. Some white folks want to pretend it don't exist. And some white folks still supporting it.
Mm-hmm.
That's racism. And they say, well, how come we always talk about white people? Because y'all did it. That's why you did it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you need that. That's why it's always a problem for you. If you're not a part of that camp, tell me what else you're doing to destroy the system, to dismantle the system. Where have you stood up against racism? Where? I mean, just it's not hard to identify good people because they're usually doing good things.
Yeah. Yeah.
People who are not doing those things are not good people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's not difficult. We need to pay more attention in the successes with Biden, who has appointed several judges, almost 40 judges or so.
Mm-hmm.
We know we still have now this, like for instance, people don't pay attention to the Supreme Court. I think the Supreme Court is still stacked 6-3 usually. Six towards, supposing to be nonpartisan and unbiased, but we do
Mm-hmm.
know that this government has taken that turn to where even our justice, Supreme Court justices, are making decisions along party lines as opposed to what's best for the American people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's stacked 6-3. So if a vote came up to take away some liberty for you, them 6 votes gonna beat them 3.
Now, excuse me. I'm gonna change gears a little bit for a second, Leonard, and I want to talk to you about what your favorite governor, Kemp, is trying to pass, where you don't have to have a concealed license in the state of Georgia to carry a weapon. What are the pros and cons with that?
Well, first of all, let's understand that we came from a system where that was the law. You could just carry your gun.
Mm-hmm.
So that was revised, which has led to more restrictions and more requirements.
Mm-hmm.
So the group that was against restrictions and requirements are going to be about that business in office,
Mm-hmm.
especially if they have a lot of their supporters that would like that as well.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta remember, rules are for people. These laws are going to affect those people that would obey the law, not those that wouldn't anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
All the bad guys still got their gun.
Mm-hmm. Every
Law
one
don't
of
stop. Law don't stop people from getting guns.
them. Mm-hmm.
So it just regulates what happens to people with guns. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have those individuals who do these types of things, like your governor, too, because he needs all the support he can get. So if he can show himself lenient on any type of protective gun policy, then he's going to garner more votes to support his agenda.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he's doing that.
So is it pretty much a shot against Abrams?
I don't think so much a shot against Abrams, but an appeal to his base.
Mm-hmm.
Abrams is all about the right to bear arms and everything else. So there's not a whole big difference when it comes to that part.
Mm-hmm.
The issue is appealing to a people who believe that their right to bear arms is going to be taken from them.
Mm-hmm.
That's a different group of people on the far right side of politics.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Let me go. I'll mute your line. I think we had a little feedback coming from your line there. But let me go to Brother Pete. Brother Pete, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, DKM Radio, Morning Glow panel, Brother Lynn Swan, listen audience. How y'all doing this morning?
Hey, doing good, man. I gotta ask you the question, man. We talking about today is January the 6th, and we know what happened 1 year ago today. What happened 1 year ago today? What have we learned, Pete? And have we advanced? Have there been enough justice done to the people that are perpetrated this terrible act against our Capitol building and our government? What have we learned? Where are we? Where are we, Pete? 1 year later.
Fighting Omicron and facing 2, 3, 4, 5 more strands. I think that's where we are.
Mm-hmm.
What have we learned? Well, you said justice for what they've done. What is justice?
Mm-hmm.
And what does justice look like? And how are we looking at what happened January 6th? Was it a riot? Was it an insurrection? Was it a attempted coup? Was it some folks just thinking they can do whatever? Were they patriots going to occupy their property as the people to prove the point that this is the people's property? I mean, let's look at all the angles. What was it? What happened? And then have we had enough justice from it? What do you mean, justice? What are you talking about? What does justice even look like? What is justice? When you can have a group of people storm your Capitol, you can find that individuals inside the building were communicating with the individuals.
Mm-hmm.
The head CEO of the corporation incited the whole incident, encouraged it.
Yeah.
And you want to go out to a couple of unemployed, retired benefit receiving knuckleheads who don't have nothing to do but drink beer and search the internet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what is justice? What have we learned? We've learned that the hypocrisy, the double standard of America, her dress has been raised up and the world is looking at her nakedness. We have seen the hypocrisy of a republic that says it is a democracy governed by laws. That's what we've learned. We've learned that we've been lied to, and we're continuing to be lied to. That's what we've learned. That everybody, too many, are in on the fix. That is only about power and self. Has nothing to do with the masses of a society, the people, and governance, and a real structure upon the rightly dividing right and wrong. It's we've been slapped in the face, but that's an illusion that exists in your church, maybe, because it don't exist in too many of them anymore either. That's what we've learned.
Wow. And one of the things that has stuck out with what you said justice. What does it even look like? See, with that statement right there, man, it's a very sad reality that we have to even deal with it from that angle. Like, people don't even know what it looked like. What does justice look like? It's alien to some people. And that's
justice is the prevention of injustice. That's what justice looks like. Do you see it? Justice is the prevention of injustice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Have you seen?
Have not.
Have you seen a system of law governance that prevents wrong?
No. No.
We just had a family house shot up in Griffin. They were fighting a fraudulent foreclosure. The whole process is riddled with blatant fraud. The characters are well connected individuals and entities. Now all of a sudden, their house gets shot up.
Mm.
Husband in the hospital got shot in the arm.
Mm.
Ain't that something?
Wow. Wow. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We love to have your input. We love to have your input as to how you feel about it, what we're talking about. Justice. What does it really look like? January the 6th, 1 year later. Have justice been served? Is it over? Should we, like he said, start concentrating on other things and put that on the back burner? It happened. It's been a year. It's over. Move on. Tucson, what do you say to that?
I say we will. I say we will. Soon as something else comes up, we're gonna start talking about that and forget about talking about this because it'll happen again because it's happened before. All you gotta do is find you a news report or a posting and watch the comments that turn into an argument. In a civilized society that continue to promote injustice in an unjust justice system by lawbreakers that make laws to fit them. And you just check it out. You just pay attention. Let's see. Hold on. Today is January the 6th. Let me see. Let me look at the calendar. Give me a minute to look at a calendar.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's go between your birthday and mine. January the 17th. Something else is going to happen between now and then. Matter of fact, it's Martin Luther's birthday. Okay. Between those 2 days, watch how this goes away. And they're going to be raising hell about us celebrating Martin Luther King's birthday.
Wow. Wow. Again, 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. That's the number. Give us a call. We'd love to have your input. What is different? What has changed? Badger, the word civilized came up. Badger, are we really civilized?
Honest opinion?
Yes.
No.
Mm.
Most of America is not civilized by my viewpoints. If people were civilized, they'd be treating other human beings kindly across the board. There wouldn't be no concern about what a person looks like or their sexual preference or any of that kind of stuff and judgment. Judgment to the point of it's okay. If a person is doing an evil deed, it's an evil deed. If they're molesting children, raping women, boys, all that stuff, to me that's evil. But just because of a person's skin color or heritage, their sexual preference when it comes to, a man wanting to be with a man or a woman wanting to be with a woman because they're both grown, that's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
I had to watch what I was saying because I remember my wife saying that there was pedophiles trying to use that sexual preference terminology, and I'm like, wait a minute, I can't use that because people actually tried to use that to say that it's okay to sleep with children. No, no, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
um, so, but right there's a good example. You know, we are supposed to be this society that has freedom of speech. We're supposed to be, as the American people, be able to come together, and if we don't agree with a bill or a law or things like that, you know, our Senate and House representatives are supposed to be voting based on what we think, you know, based on their state.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really see them publicly posting the bills asking, you know, this, like, I think it would be amazing if each Senate and House, the bills that are coming through, if it's sent to the states, to like a public state website where the people in those states can vote and then see who are really voting for us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Would they
Wow.
do that? No, because they want to be in there for 60 years and be able to have those big old paychecks because, you know, I'd love to see some of them wear jackets like NASCAR drivers do. So we actually know who's funding them.
Mm-hmm.
So no,
Mm-hmm.
we don't live in a civilized world. And not by my viewpoint, by a long shot. And as far as the January 6th stuff, people can blame one solitary person, Trump, all they want. It boils down to the fact that the people that were there, if it was Trump's fault or whoever's fault or what head person, leader, it's also the responsibility of the people involved that actually went through with it. They're just as much responsible as the leader is, in
Mm-hmm.
my eyes.
And see, and that goes back to a conversation we had yesterday. We were talking about the men and the women, and the responsibility that goes along with that. That's perfect, and that's a great argument towards
No,
that. Hold on, we got to move on back. Hold on for a second. I just threw something out there, brother. We ain't gonna if
yeah,
we
but
go
don't
right
twist
there.
my words.
If we go right there, we're gonna the whole conversation gonna be twisted. Curtis, what's on your heart, brother?
No, I hear what the brother's saying. I really do. I really do. I hear what he's saying. But I also hear in the same breath that you're off that you're offering up an opportunity for those who planned the situation to get away.
Mm-hmm.
Because a good lawyer can take your argument, your specific argument, and say, my client didn't make nobody do anything. I think we lose in sight of
Uh, you
the
did hear
true
me say
commonality of
just
human.
as
Hold
responsible,
on, hold
right?
on, hold on, hold on, hold on, Badger. Hold on, Badger. I come back to you if I need to, but let him finish his thought. Go ahead, Curtis.
I think we're losing. I think we're losing sight of the true idea of human behavior. For the most part, humans are sheep, and sheep, for the most part, have to be led. That's why they have a shepherd. For the most part, human behavior in America says that if the president says what he's saying has way more weight than what you're saying, because the average person is thinking, well, maybe he saw something that we didn't see. Because the fact is, he's privy to information that we are not privy to, right? So you're right in saying, hey, look, if you played a part in that, you should be held accountable too. Well, the last time I looked, almost 575 people have been either sentenced, indicted, or are in court right now. As a result of that, according to everything that I've been studying, as a result of that, you know what? I can't even say it was no major super smart thing. They're doing exactly what the Fed has done for years. The Fed come through, they snatch up the corner workers. Once they snatch up the corner workers and they start throwing them numbers out there, The corner workers start talking. Once the corner workers start talking, then you start finding out who's the plug, who's the go-to guy, who's the lieutenant, who's running the block. Oh, who's the main one? Who's the head? In this case, we know exactly who the head is. And if we let him get away with it, what will happen is once again, the small people have been charged and convicted, and the leader has gotten away scot-free. That's just what it is. We're not going to overthink this thing. You don't have to overthink it. It was criminal. I need you to find me 11,780 votes. Now, some of us say, according to Georgia law, federal law, that was criminal. But let me just add to that. He stuck the nail in the coffin with criminality when he said that is one more vote than what we have. So that means you actually looked at the numbers. You sat down with somebody. They told you what the numbers was on your side. They told you what the numbers was on the other side. And they told you exactly how many votes you needed to change the Georgia vote. You needed one. Surely you can find me one vote. Find you one vote? What do you mean, find you one vote? We done counted these votes 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that, and finally, the fact that he had the mitigated gall, which is an old mob tactic, by the way. I got a homeboy serving 125 years for what they did to Ruby Freeman. I got a homeboy right now serving 125 for what they did to Ruby Freeman. When you send anybody in the middle of an investigation to someone's house to try and scare them into confessing and or not testifying, that is what you call tampering.
Mm-hmm.
That is what they call on a federal level obstruction of justice.
Mm-hmm.
That is intimidating a possible witness.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna leave it there.
Mm-hmm. Hold on, because let me pull him back in. I'm glad you wanted to say something to that. And Pete, come to you next.
For one, I was also wanting to make sure that people heard me say he is just as responsible as the ones that did it.
Mm-hmm. You did.
All right. And second off, what's being shown, today about the Trump and everything else, and the potential of Trump, wanting to defend, or at least that's what some of the news channels are saying and things like that. He's supposed to be impeached. He was supposed to do all this stuff. No, people in power get away with a lot more than they should be. I will never disagree with that.
Mm-hmm.
But this is America. Government officials up that high has been getting away with things like this for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
How are we going to change it?
And with you saying that, I think that we do agree that because they've been getting away with it doesn't mean it's right. I know your heart, brother,
Absolutely no, it's not right whatsoever. The issue is how are we going to make sure that the people in power are actually being punished like they should be?
Mm-hmm. Get them out of office. Get them out of office, and we would. That's that's the first step. Get them out, like Leonard always said. Get them out of office. If they're not right, if they're corrupt, get them out of office, and we'll deal with the legalities of it after we get them out of office, because they cannot be in office making decisions for us when they don't have our best interests at heart. Pete, what's on your heart, brother?
But see, we want to understand the structure.
Mm-hmm.
We're dealing with a corporate structure. We're dealing with a governmental structure. Two different entities.
Mm-hmm.
So the one side is saying, we the people, right? We are we the people.
Mm-hmm.
And we're coming to let you know this is our house. It's not your house. You work here. Anything related to the government function, i.e. corporate function as well, is supplied by the people. That's our stuff. That's why they sat down at the desk and went through the papers. Because they're trying to show you It's mine. It ain't yours. That's their mindset now.
Come on.
That's the perspective that they coming from. I'm not judging the right and the wrong and the back and the forth. I'm laying out the perspectives of what it was. Were they led? Are they naive? Or some of them, whatever. I don't think it was a crowd of two bright people. But, everybody there wasn't stupid. Everybody there wasn't ignorant. A lot of these folks were former military presidents, government officials, state government officials, enforcement authorized individuals, present or retired. It was riddled with this level of people. Some people know the Constitution. They know enough about it. They know enough about certain laws and rules. Their perspective is, this our house. This government is of, for, and by the people. We represent a contingency of the people, and we're coming to let you know this is our house. Now, I don't really think they were there to kill anybody, because clearly if 5 of them wanted to kill somebody would have, more than the few that died would have died. Because looking at the pictures and the crowd and the way that thing went down, and they had the building surrounded without adequate security or reinforcement, if it was a real mindset to go in there and murder some folks, then we should have a lot more bodies.
Well, but what wasn't they chanting hang Pence and what?
Yeah, intimidation tactics. What I'm saying to you is, when you have a fourth of the crowd, let's just say a fourth of the crowd was present form of military, different branches of the military, law enforcement, varying levels of law enforcement, and then you had government official entities, FBI, different groups, different enforcement areas of the federal government. They find out that these are the people that were there. Well, look, all them folks trained. Got some type of training. Them folks carry guns. They shoot on a regular basis. So if they really went in there to kill some people, where the rest of the body? There's only one man standing in the hallway with a handgun. I mean, how many rounds you got in this clip? 12, 8, 10, 20 at the most? 60 of them standing in front of you. What you gonna do? Nothing. So, again, I don't. My personal perspective is really neutral, because I look at it from both sides, and I'm not justifying nothing that they did that we can identify to be wrong. But what I'm expressing is, look at it. Just stop for a second and look at it how they say. This is how they're looking at it, and then that action, that energy, right? That fraternal crowd football group mentality. Was it co-opted? Was the energy co-opted? Yes! Let's go storm the building! Yeah!
What, man? What's going on? What's going on over there, Leonard? What is really going on? We got another call. Let me go to the phone line. Toya with a T. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Good morning. How you doing? Happy New Year.
Hey, Happy New Year to you as well. Happy New Year to you as well, Toya. I gotta ask you the question. We're talking about January 6th. Today is January 6th. Now, 1 year ago, we know what happened. What have we learned? Have the proper amount of justice been laid out? Have we grown since January 6th to now? 1 year later, 365
Nope, white folks do what they want to do. Black folks get killed for what they do. Nope, ain't nothing changed. We learned. They showed it in our faces again. No, if people still ain't in jail, they still got something. Folks that went on vacation and all that since then. White folks still do what they want to do.
Wow.
And they still trying to say no justice. No, we can shoot unarmed people, especially if they're brown, but we're not going to shoot no angry people running into the building. What? Are you kidding me? No. So it is true. Like, I thought it was a myth. No, get out of here. I'm a 77 baby. We all get treated fairly. January 6th, it showed me white people do what they want to do. And I'm not mad, right? Because, hey, I do what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm not mad. But that's proof it is what it is. Justice is only for us. Just us, too, at that. Because listen, we all on this phone can go right now and run a little too fast around that White House. And we'll get shot down so fast like some pigeons, they won't think nothing else about it, talking about what they thought we was going to do. Are you kidding me? How many other people before then, let's not sleep on it now, how many other people before then try to run up and do something at the White House? And again, didn't make it out. But the whole clan, Bubba brother, Bubba mama, Bubba sister, and Bubba girlfriend, and grab all their cousins and run there and ain't nothing happened. Are you kidding me? People opening up doors for them. Are you kidding me? People died and still. So no, that just, it is what it is. Me and the Lord, that's how we gonna do this. Because if we go by this law, I'm gonna stay tangled up just because of the color.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's a lot. That's a lot. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me. Tucson, coming to you next. Unmute yourself, Leonard.
If anybody is really interested in campaign contributions, you need to go to your Federal Elections Commission's website. All that information on campaign contributions per candidate is at that website. It's the Federal Election Commission's website. And that way you can go and see who's donating to what, even for upcoming elections, how much money candidates have raised and that type of thing.
That's good. That's good. Let's go to what time is 8:40. Let's transition over to our topic for today. And our topic for the day is this, and Leonard, we're gonna stay with you to start this off. Divorce. Who does it really impact? Now we know that if you're a husband and wife or whatever your connection is, and you go through marriage, and you divorce, the impact that it can have on those two individuals. But Leonard, is that all that divorce impacts, and who does it really, as a whole, who does divorce impact?
Well, if there were children in a relationship, it would impact the children. I mean, to me, divorce ain't no big deal if two people agree. Everybody ain't supposed to be together. And you definitely shouldn't stay with somebody that is not treating you fairly. So, divorce is about two folks who in the contract.
Okay.
One person don't, and then people don't want to keep the contract. You go down there and get rid of divorce. And you explain to your children why you're doing it. That's all it is.
And I'm glad you said that part. Explain to your children, because a lot of times people don't properly explain it to the children what's going on and how this whole thing is going to work. And the children sometimes find themselves thinking that it's their fault. A lot of times, children find themselves thinking it's their fault.
That's why because if you don't educate them properly, then they will believe that. If they choose to. A lot of people choose to believe certain things that are not true. So that's the whole purpose of explaining to them why you're doing it.
That's good.
Because one, like I said, it's about that family, not everybody else. So the people getting the divorce need to explain to their children why and what to expect. See, your children are outside of your relationship between you and your wife.
You say that one more time.
They're outside of the relationship between you and your wife. You ain't married to your kids. You ain't met your kids walking down the street and fell in love and wanted to give everything you had to them. Usually the children are a product of the marriage.
Yeah.
They are not the marriage.
Man, there's so much about me right now. Want to talk about ownership, but we'll get to that part in a minute. Let me go to Curtis. Curtis, what do you say to that, man? Who do you say divorce? Who does it really impact?
Everybody who has an investment in the overall union, it impacts everybody. It impacts everybody who has a real, true investment in that union. Like I was like when I was married the first time, right? And thank God it's the same way this time. Um, I wasn't an in-law that was hated by my in-laws.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like my mother-in-law, my former mother-in-law, and my mother-in-law now love me to death. You know what I'm saying? But once everything went down, I thought about that thing, and I'm like, wow, now, because of my crap and because of her crap, now Mama's in a real awkward position because Mama loved me, but that's her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? So if Mama say anything in favor of me, she has to deal with the fallout from her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So like the kids definitely, when you got kids involved, they definitely gonna be affected. I'm just dealing with the fallout of that just last year.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's just when you gotta put your big boy drawers on, and you gotta take accounting. But everybody, I believe, honestly, I believe that everybody who was invested in that union is affected. I still remember my cousin coming
Now,
to me.
Curtis. Now, Curtis. No, I understand what you're saying, and I like to play both sides of the coin for a second. I don't use the other term people use when they say the advocate. I don't get into all that. But what do you say? People say, man, look here, this me and her marriage. Y'all ain't got nothing to do with this, marriage and or divorce. Y'all ain't got nothing to do with this, man. Y'all ain't got no hand in this at all. It shouldn't have impacted you. We decided to get together. We decided to get married, and now we decide to get divorced. It has nothing to do with you. What do you say to that?
Well, that's your opinion.
Mm-hmm.
That's his or her opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you got an opinion or just because you got a feeling does not make that a fact.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? My divorce, man. The one thing that I remember above all other things about my divorce is I remember my cousin coming to me, a man whom I look up to,
Mm-hmm.
a man whom I respect deeply and wholeheartedly. And I remember him coming up to me, and he just about had tears in his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, cuz, what's going on? What's wrong? And he looked at me. He said, man, Kurt, I'm hurt. And I'm like, you hurt? He like, yo, I didn't see this one coming, man. Like, you know, I had so much faith that y'all thing was going to work out and that, and then he started telling me how the whole hood was like, yeah, one of us got married, got a good wife, blah, 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 blah. I didn't even realize that I grew up in a tight knit community, a tight knit hood, but I didn't even realize how much my hood was actually paying attention to my overall success. See, for some people consider, getting married and settling down and finding Miss Right. Some people consider that a part of life's success.
Mm-hmm. Good deal.
And if they ain't never had it, they can always look to you and say that, well, if I didn't have it, especially if they real down, if they down for you like that, if I didn't have it, guess what? I got to see one of my homies have it.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, I get it, and they got that right to say that. But I just say that that's your opinion, bro.
Good deal.
It's your opinion. It's like, dude,
hold right there, Kurt.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
exactly. Exactly. Hold right there, man. Let me pull some more people. Toya, what do you say to that, man? We're talking about divorce, and good morning, Rico. We're gonna come to you in just a little bit, brother. We're talking about divorce and who does it really impact. Toya, what do you say to that? If they decide to divorce, who is it impacting? Is it just those two, or does it impact more people?
Yeah, well, to a great extent, it affects everyone around them, and their people. You know what I mean? Please don't be a superstar, because when you have millions of people watching you, and you break up, yeah, it affects them. But like now what you feel, it has nothing to do with anybody else, just you and her.
Mm-hmm.
The actual people in the relationship going through the so-called misery is who it doesn't affect. But I like to often say, if you get a divorce, you ain't had no business being married in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us make some moves and stuff like that, and even if we think it shouldn't be the good move, it's do what God told us to do. See,
Mm-hmm.
we so busy worried about everything else, worried about the government, worried about Corona, worried about what mom and them daddy said, but we not listening to what God say. And I believe this is my opinion, because I've had a lot of great guys, and I do indeed think like I'm still probably have gotten married, but when I look at it now, like no, I see how much of the fit they were not. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that probably would have ended in divorce because I'm this kind of way. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still
Mm-hmm.
a little old, but I'm still being patient because I want the right one. So, I feel like sometimes when we wind up in divorce, when we 20 or whatever age we are, we know good and well we ain't had no business marrying that person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Some of us could have been with people for a long time because we wanted to be, not because that was the right place to be. We do it all the time. Women date men all the time because of what they got, not because of how they love them, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? A lot of kids see misery, see the father and the mother going through things, and being realistic because you explain to your kids what a good adult is. They, oh, mommy, daddy doesn't treat you right. Let's go. The kid ready to go too. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But oftentimes we adapt this. What's the word? It escapes me. Hold on. Dysfunction into our relationships.
Yeah.
We implement it in family, beating the mother, beating the father, and beating the kid. Oh, that's just the way of life. Being miserable to each other, how you talk to each other, that now becomes culture now. That's why we stuck where we are right now. That now becomes culture. So now when you wake up at 40, like, oh, well, he talks to me like crap. Now I want a divorce. No, he been talking to you like crap since
Mm-hmm.
18 because that's the culture that we've adapted. So, again, I feel like, even if it ain't right, everything we do affects everybody. Probably not directly, right? But
Mm-hmm.
even just with us beyond friends, if I go and I marry the wrong man right now, y'all gonna know. Y'all gonna know when I deal with y'all, when I'm not on the show anymore, things of that nature. And again, it might not directly impact you not being on the show, but as friends, I think y'all be like, yo, Toya, what's up?
Yeah,
Ever since you married
exactly.
that dude, yo.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So we really have to pay attention and understand that, yes, some of the things that we do does impact everybody, even if it's not directly.
That's good. That's good. Let me go to Pete, and then we got another caller from the 252 area code coming to you next. Pete, what's on your heart, brother? Divorce. Who does it really impact?
I'm with my dear brother. I think it affects everybody that has an investment.
Mm-hmm.
Marriage being the secure foundation of family. We know we have alternatives, but that's the more secure foundation of family.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we don't have these things, how does that affect the family structure, like my dear sister just said? So I think that it affects all of those that have interest and investment, a close benefit, linkage to, but then it also affects the greater society as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We have a culture over here where we share, whether we realize it or not, we share. Many of us have had experiences, sexual experiences, before we've committed to one.
Mm-hmm.
So you already used. You already used. But we
Mm-hmm.
don't look at it like that. And you break up with this one and get with that one, and they get with that one, and they been used, and now y'all being used more. So after a certain amount of time, you just used up.
Mm. Wow.
So I mean, it's we just marriage. Divorce is can be very serious and very detrimental. But like you say, if it's a negative situation, it can
Mm-hmm.
absolutely be positive. Okay, because you shouldn't have. It's not beneficial to you or them. Somebody end up dead in the hospital, in jail. Maimed, deformed, threw some acid in somebody's face in a fit of rape.
Mm.
It covers the gamut. But certainly, just in the purest sense, simply looking at it on face value, it affects a lot. I mean,
Wow.
the property value.
Mm-hmm.
They had to move and sell a house.
Mm-hmm.
Children got to go to a different school. You might have to get a different job or
Yeah.
get another job.
Mm-hmm.
Now you by yourself. You was working it out with 2 incomes. Now you got to deal with it with 1. So a whole lot that's involved in that business transaction going into dissolvement.
Exactly. Exactly. 252 area code. What's your name? Where you calling from? Rico, coming to you next, brother.
This
25.
is Dr. Cook.
Dr. Cook, good morning. How you doing this morning?
I'm well. I'm well.
Good deal. Good to have you, sis.
How's everyone?
Hey, doing good. Doing good. Happy New Year to you. We're asking a question. Who does divorce, who does it really impact? Who does it really impact, Dr. Cook? Talk to me.
Well, divorce impacts everyone. I'm a divorced parent,
Mm-hmm.
and it affects every family involved because everyone shared in the moment when you got married.
Mm-hmm.
So it affects everyone. Um, it just affects everyone. It's sometimes it's a sad situation, um, and sometimes it's the best situation for those two persons.
Mm-hmm.
But with my divorce, it was bitter from the other side. Um, some people have their own agendas.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Dr. Cook, are you there? I think we lost you for a second.
Until death.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the case with everyone else. And you think you know a person when you get married and before, but sometimes people change on you.
Mm-hmm.
The real them comes out. They will basically paint a facade
Mm-hmm.
over your eyes. I'm saying you think and you see one thing. I'm saying that person was a good actor,
Mm-hmm.
and then years down the line they start to change. Um, and just some people just have their own motives and agendas in the marriage, and some people don't understand what marriage is all about.
Mm-hmm.
So, but to answer the question, it affects everyone involved, especially the children. And
Wow.
you just have to make the children's situation positive and keep them moving in a positive manner, and keep
Mm-hmm.
yourself moving in a positive manner,
Okay.
because everyone is not for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's good. Rico, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Man, Grand Rising, congratulations. I can't complain, and happy Earth Day to you, man.
Yes, sir. Hey, likewise, I see you, brother. I gotta ask you the question, man. Divorce. Who does it really impact, Rico? Who does that really impact? It's divorce, man. It happens all the time.
I think it impacts the people that you interacted with as a couple
Mm-hmm.
more than anybody. Like say for instance you work with somebody, but they never meet your spouse.
Mm-hmm.
Then the only contact they have or the context that they have to build off of how that marriage goes is with you. And if you
Mm-hmm.
come complaining to them about your marriage or something going wrong, then you're going to have some sympathy with them. It still might impact you because they might not be focused at work. They might, um, they might, they might be going through depression
Mm-hmm.
because they're going through this divorce. They found out the wife is cheating, and now they're ready to leave them. They're about to lose the children. From this point forward, when they come home at nighttime, the house is not full of little pitty patter of feet, but it's an empty
Mm-hmm.
home, and now they realize everything from this day forward has changed. So when they come to work, man, you can see it in their face. They're disheveled. You can tell they ain't sleep. You can look in their eyes and tell this grown man been crying.
Mm-hmm.
And that's affecting me because when we work, I know what this marriage and his family meant to him. And he was
Mm-hmm.
such a happy-go-lucky person. Or she was so happy-go-lucky to have such a man like that. Now she's crushed. And that's affected me because we're co-workers. I'm
Mm-hmm.
dependent on this person. So it affects many people, man, in ways that you don't know. Because what I found out in my older years is that sometimes you don't believe people are looking up to you or modeling themselves after you, and you'll find out that they are. I found
Mm-hmm.
out maybe 4 or 5 years ago, man, I had boatloads of people that were looking up to me and girls that had crushes on me and stuff. And I'm like, I never knew this stuff. You
Mm-hmm.
never know who's watching you.
Yeah.
while you are in the process of doing you and being great, even if you don't realize you're doing great things. These people with these marriages don't realize that their marriage is a model for other people that's looking up to them and saying, you know what, man, I want a marriage like that.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's a facade, just like the caller just said. It's been plenty of times we've looked at marriage, Jada and Will, prime example.
Yeah.
We looked at them like the celebrity equation or equal of Michelle and Barack.
Mm-hmm.
Now look, we find out Jada been a whole fool. She's been putting on a whole big act the whole time. Will was breaking in all the money, doing a real good job acting, and she couldn't make all that money. She decided to act during her marriage and put out an image and a facade for everybody to say, Will and Jada, Will and Jada. We heard it. Every time you turn around, Will and Jada, it sounded like they was a machine together. You weren't gonna never hear those names separated. They still haven't divorced, but look what has been going on. And so now some people, and that actually affected a lot of people. Think about that. When they found out that she had been messing with her son's friend, she had took advantage. Ain't that something? She pulled an R. Kelly with one of her son's friends, and ain't nothing even been said. The sisters ain't came at her and chopped her head off, and the brothers ain't neither.
She had an entanglement.
They put a nice little name on it and exposed it to the world. And then interviewed him and had him sitting up there looking like a fool. But that affected people. That affected people because they had this image in their mind that they were the perfect couple. What else what else could you have? You got fame and you got money. And you asked that question earlier. Are we civilized? Well, we have the image of being civilized depending on based on the standard of certain people that set the rules and the guidelines. But really and truly, civilization. What I put it this way: who needs civilization when you got money?
Wow, that's good. We can leave that right there, Patrick. What do you say, man? Who does divorce? That's good. Who does divorce impact?
I mean, I was actually grateful when my parents did. But I had an abusive mother, so my dad divorcing her was a decision that was based on his sanity and the well-being of his kids. So I think sometimes it's a matter of perspective, and sometimes it's a must. So, like, for the most part, I'm listening, because I have the perspective I have. Now, but to me, that's what caused that situation. When you have an abusive parent and the other one doesn't want them to be around, then is what it is.
That's good. That's good. Leonard, what do you say, brother? What's on your heart? Who does divorce? Who does it really impact, Leonard?
Well, of course, like I said before, to me, it's between two people and their children, because those are the ones that constitute that particular immediate family that will be affected. Incomes will be split. People will have to live different places and to make adjustments. However, I'm solely not into people's business that way. Where like I got friends that have had divorces, we laughing as we crying, one of the two. It took me all of 15 minutes to get a divorce. Period. I mean, I don't have no feelings, about other people when it comes to that, because those are their personal relationships. I'm not interested in their other people's personal relationships that way. Because I don't want you in my business.
Come on.
So my marriage is between me and my wife. And those that we seek to share things with are close friends of ours. But our relationship is personal.
Yes.
I don't owe nobody else nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what you looking at or what you believe or how you have chosen to insert yourself in my business.
Mm-hmm.
That's your problem, not mine.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't ask you to look at my marriage as nothing that meant anything to you. I mean, some people be sad because some people break up, but even then, that's a little bit far fetched.
But my thing, what if and I can understand what was being said, because a lot of times people look up to certain individuals and they have put them in high regards, and so you could become that example. You could become that example of what they think a marriage should be, and then when you go through that thing called divorce, it impacts them, man, because they were looking up to you, man. They man, they can do
That's why
that's.
you should, and you're not ready to marry or be with anyone
Mm-hmm.
if that's what you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
because you
I mean,
can't make your marriage what it is not.
mm-hmm. But it happens, brother.
Yeah, and then one, I don't even care for that type of, I'm that's why I'm explaining to you it this way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. That's not in my character.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not. I mean, I listen to people and their feelings about it, but that's them. It's not me.
Mm-hmm. My
So,
dog.
because I mean, I didn't care what people thought about my divorce.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't had nothing to do with them.
Mm-hmm.
So how they felt about it, I don't care. It's not your business.
Mm-hmm. It's not your life to live; it's mine,
No, it's
basically.
not. I don't
Mm-hmm.
lay down next to you every night. Mind your business and what go on in your house.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Let me go. We got another call, and my dog going off. Somehow I'm still here with y'all, but my camera done froze. I don't know how that happened, but anyway, it is what it is. I'm sitting here stuck. But as long as y'all can still hear me, and everybody else can hear me, man, we good to go. Cassandra, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Cassandra, we asking the question: divorce. Who does divorce really impact? Who does if when people get divorced, does it just impact the two people that's getting the divorce, or is the wave much wider?
It's much wider. The children are affected. The families are affected on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
It can, let me put it like this, it can affect them,
Mm-hmm.
because there have been relationships, hopefully there have been relationships built between the two people. I've seen families that were so close to the bride or the groom, the husband or the wife, that, I mean, it's like their family.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully, if they built those kind of relationships, that doesn't change, because you don't stop loving or caring about people because two people decided to get divorced.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy to even
Mm-hmm.
think that that's the way it is. Because if I'm friends with your sister and we love each other, we treat each other, she will be my sister-in-law forever. My brother and my ex-brother-in-law, him and I, like no divorce ever happened. My ex-husband children, they call me on the regular.
Mm-hmm.
So it affects a lot of people, but it doesn't have to be in a negative way. If you guys decide to go your separate ways, it should not destroy relationships that were built over years between your family and that person. And it shouldn't.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Toussaint, there's a divorce. There's been a divorce, and you and her had separated, but you was real close, or she was real close to your family. Now say you're with someone that you got somebody new in your life, you having family functions. Should she still be able to come to those functions? Your ex?
If she want to, come on.
Mm-hmm. How
She can
uncomfortable?
handle it without drama.
Mm-hmm.
If she can handle it without drama, come on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So can. Come on. Because, like Cassandra says, see, the divorce ain't got nothing, and Leonard said, divorce ain't got nothing to do with you.
Mm-hmm.
But if y'all want to maintain the friendship, y'all continue. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Matter of fact, I mean, let me tell you, uh, I get along pretty good, I think, with my ex-wife. I believe.
Mm-hmm.
No, well, you have to know me to know me, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let me
Mm-hmm.
just say that. Matter of fact, I get along good with her husband.
Mm-hmm.
I do. Now, some people can't handle that. You know,
Yeah.
when my son graduated from the Navy, we all went. And we sit down at the dinner table.
Mm-hmm.
Me, her husband, my children. And that was that. Matter of fact, he paid for the lunch. I think we was talking about the gas and the lunch and how we was all going to work all of that out. And we did what we act civilized. Now, there are some people can't handle that.
Yeah.
Don't know how.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a clue of how.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna tell you, it affects everybody that is connected in any kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
But you
Exactly.
got to keep them folks out your business.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Even though they affect it, you got to keep them out of your business.
Mm-hmm.
Because what if I would? Can you imagine the kind of craziness would be at the dinner table if I'm sitting there with my ex-wife, her husband is there, and I'm looking at him side-headed? That's stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Now,
that's actually stupid.
It is. And it doesn't make any sense, but it does happen, brother. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. Trust me. Go ahead, Tucson.
No, I know it does. I know it does, and I see it. I mean, I know some people that are ignorant. I mean, really to the point where I know the ex. At one point, I thought they was following husband, but they was following the female. Matter of fact, it's to the point where they wanted to keep their eye on them so much they joined the same church.
Wow. That's stalking there, brother.
I don't know what you call it.
I call it stalking.
That's you talk about singing the song, "Oh, what a fellowship, what a joy divine." Not in them church services.
Wow. Let me go to we just lost what's name. Dr. Cook, if you're available, call back in. I don't know if the phone got disconnected or you hung up, but if you're available, call back in. Told you what to see. You are going to a family function. It's a family function that you're going to. You and your fiance are going there. Y'all get there and y'all sitting around, everybody sitting around talking at the table and stuff like that, get ready to eat. And then your ex walk in with his date or whatever. Toya, what kind of does that change the mood? Does that change the atmosphere, or what do you do at that time? Toya, you there?
Yeah. Well, no. I think it depends. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna be no terrible ex and think everybody's gonna like you and you still come through. That's the problem. If you drama, then you've been drama. You're not gonna just be drama because you broke up. So if you're liked and that's the problem, you know what I'm saying? Then there's gonna be an issue. So we're talking about, okay, we decided to come to a common determination to split up, not because you were celibate, right? It shouldn't make it awkward, right? It's only gonna be awkward if you cheated on me, you decided to leave me because, you know what I'm saying? If the relationship is off balance, that's the only part that makes it awkward. You understand what I'm saying? Here you come and you just left me for no reason. I helped you did this and do that and do that. Now you made it. Now you got a white girl and now I'm there and you walk in with a white girl. Yeah, I'm going to be awkward because that's not something we just sat down and discussed. You played me. So yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable if you played the person. No, I'm not coming over there. If y'all knew he was cheating on me, I don't care how many years it's been. I'm not going to be coming up over there. And all y'all knew because that was y'all's brother that he was cheating. Y'all just smiling in my face, knowing he just running through broads. And then now 15 years later, after I done funded his businesses, his education, you still family, you can still come around. I bet I am. Family. I wasn't snapping up for you to be real with me and say, hey, listen, my brother's a dog, girl. Go get you somebody that ain't going. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it
Mm-hmm.
depends on the circumstances on if we're gonna be cordial. You know what I'm saying? You can't be the wrong one. You can't be the one that then ran up with somebody and think it ain't gonna be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Gotta really, you know what I'm saying, evaluate how that went down.
Okay. That's good. That's good. Rico, what do you say to that, brother?
I agree wholeheartedly. You know, and like I said, it sort of goes back to what I was saying earlier. Whether we want to admit it or not, sometimes people are watching us and modeling themselves after us, or sometimes people are just rooting for us
Mm-hmm.
because they are in our corner. And so
Mm-hmm.
when they are happy for you because you have finally gotten married and you seem happy, you know, sometimes people are happy to see other people happy. They like to see your joy.
Yeah.
That's why other people cry when they come to your wedding. Oh,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so great. It was beautiful. So much joy and happiness. So that affects people because they like to see love and see human beings come together, especially black love.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't that something beautiful? So now I'm going through this situation. In some cases, a person on the outside looking in, that your coworker or your children might be glad to see you get a divorce because they tired of seeing you get mistreated. They tired of listening to you cry and complain and talk about how bad your wife or your husband been doing. Man, you got to look out for yourself sometime.
Mm-hmm.
And so the best thing that could have happened was a divorce. But now what was really awkward, like I said, that's on a small level, the co-workers and the friends that you met or interacted with as a husband or a couple or a
Mm-hmm.
wife. That's different how you impact them. But the children and the in-laws. Me and my father, we talk all the time about how my last aunt that passed away, my mom's sister, man, she would fight and cry when my dad and my mom got a divorce just as much as I would. Cause she was that
Mm-hmm.
crazy about her brother-in-law. Matter of fact, most of my aunts were extremely crazy about my dad, their brother-in-law, till the point that they still call him brother-in-law. Over 40 years later, look, my mom and dad have been separated at least by the time I was 3 years old. And they still call my daddy brother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
Now that makes my stepdad feel sort of awkward sometimes when my grandmother was alive and she would still say, well, you know, you still my son-in-law.
Mm.
She didn't mean
Wow.
it as if I wish my daughter didn't marry this man, but at the same time, man, you a good dude and I miss you. I love you.
Mm-hmm.
My grandson's father. So, you know, that can be a very difficult situation, you know, and like what Toya was saying, I agree so much with Toya. Um, when those separations are tumultuous,
Mm-hmm.
then it's even more, I'm gonna say, uncomfortable for the
Yeah.
in-laws and the children because they may know, they may not have known. The children may have been used as pawns to make excuses and actually cover up for one of the spouses that was cheating. So
Mm-hmm.
now this other spouse is feeling like the children went against them too. Oh, y'all covered it up for him too. Y'all knew he
Mm-hmm.
was bringing that woman in my house.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
my own children. So it can affect people in so many other ways.
That's
And
good.
so, you know, it can be very understandable
Mm-hmm.
when the ex spouse doesn't come around, or that uncomfortable feeling in the atmosphere that's created from a divorce. That's why I say sometimes it really depends on if it was a toxic marriage and if the separation was tumultuous. Now, if it was
Mm-hmm.
amicable, they just split on good terms because they just didn't get along anymore, and they didn't have that interest in anybody each other anymore. But at the same time, they didn't have any hate anymore. They just,
Mm-hmm.
then you can continue to be friends. I mean, like Donald just said, to a certain extent, he's still cordial with his ex-wife.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Cassandra, what's on your heart? What do you say to that?
Yeah, it's according, to the circumstances how comfortable people will be with the situation. If someone cheated, of course, and that person comes around with the person they cheated with you, of course it's going to make you uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in that situation because my ex-husband actually died, and I went to the funeral, and you know it was what it was. You know what I'm saying? I had no problem with her. In fact, I respected her enough to call her and let her know that me and my children were coming up north to go to the homegoing out of respect. That's all. I mean, even though she did what she did, it's
Mm-hmm.
all according to where you are. Maturity level has a whole lot to do with it. Some people could not handle seeing their ex with the person they cheated with or with somebody. It don't. I'm just a different. We all have different characters. I'm just a different kind of character.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. If you happy, I'm happy. You know, anything you did wrong, it's between you and God,
Mm-hmm.
and it's that simple for me.
Wow, that's good. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
I think Cassandra hit it on the head. When it comes to it, just depends on the people. I have no
Mm-hmm.
reason to talk to my ex,
Mm-hmm.
and she has no reason to speak to me. It's just that. It's like I said, it took all of 15 minutes. I don't want to be with you no more. Let's go take care of this paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
It's a done deal. Once I put something to bed, it's to rest. Once I separate a relationship, or it don't even have to be a marital relationship.
Mm-hmm.
If you do something foul to me, we're done.
Mm-hmm.
And then people, I have another person who thought that maybe I wasn't really serious about something, and they found out.
Mm-hmm.
I'll walk right past you. I'll never speak to you again. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going to be in places where you're at, and I have that sort of that arrangement now. I'm not going to sit and break bread with you. I'm
Yeah.
just not. I believe
Mm-hmm.
you are a foul individual.
Mm-hmm.
There ain't no sense of us sitting around acting like we like one another when we don't.
Pretending. Mm-hmm.
Because the minute your lack of discipline allows you to say something stupid to me, it's gonna jump off.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm
Mm-hmm.
not usually there. I abstain from the appearances of evil. If you're an evil person, I usually don't want to be around you, especially if we got beef with one another.
Somewhere I read where it says a wise man sees trouble from afar and he avoids it.
Exactly, and that's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have
Mm-hmm.
like you said. Well, maybe it'll work. Has it ever worked out? I mean, if you got a situation every time you meet this person, I know people that do it fine. It's fine. There's some issues. If everybody's cool with it, fine. Like say for instance, with my sister, they have a child with her ex-husband. We've grown up together. We know one another. There's no animosity. But then again, me and my brother-in-law ain't married. My
Mm-hmm.
ex-brother-in-law was never married.
Mm-hmm.
We can still be friends. But like my sister said, that ain't your brother-in-law no more.
Yeah.
But see, he ain't do nothing wrong to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like with my situation, I don't associate with a lot of people from my previous relationship except my goddaughter. She's a
Mm-hmm.
child. She was a child.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's nothing between me and her has changed.
Innocent.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not pulling people into my mess and my foolishness and my failures. You know, I can. One. You're gonna have to. No, I wouldn't even suggest you approach me about it actually,
Mm-hmm.
because you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna have because and it's only because of how I am, and I usually don't wrong people.
Mm-hmm.
So usually it's always somebody has done something to me, and
Mm-hmm.
this is where the problem started. It's not that I done anything to you, and if you come back, you got your back has to be bent because I ain't left that place where we was at before.
Mm-hmm.
That was the end of our relationship.
That's
Period.
good. That's good. Then we go to Badger. Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
Just listening to everything, I the people that get married for the wrong reasons and then want to divorce over it. That's not my cup of tea.
Mm-hmm.
If you're divorcing your spouse because they're abusive and hateful and everything like that, I ain't gonna hate you for it. Matter of fact, I'll respect you for it. because especially if kids are involved.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's a matter of perspective.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Toya, what happens? Because a lot of times people say that you shouldn't get a divorce. You get married, and what God bring together, let no man or woman or anybody separate. But sometimes people like Badger just said, sometimes you marry for the wrong. And I'm not saying you, but I'm saying sometimes you marry for the wrong reasons. Sometimes it's just that you're in lust and you think it's love, or sometimes this person has a lot of material things, and you want to be in possession of those material things. So you say I do, when really you don't. What do you say to that, Toya?
You said, who gonna do what for material things?
Sometimes you marry. Sometimes people marry each other just because somebody else have material things, have money, cars, or whatever, beautiful homes, and they'll marry that person just for those reasons. They don't really love them,
Right.
or the.
That's what they do. I can't tell you how to do because I don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they do.
Yeah.
And when
Yeah.
you ain't got nothing, you're gone. Let me tell you something. People even love you and get sick. People gone.
Mm-hmm.
People suggesting to me, oh,
Mhm.
but y'all been in love. Oh, but he's just a little bit girl. He said, girl, he can't do nothing for you. Now, boy, you shouldn't be doing all that. You doing this, that, and third. You got to take care of her. You got your whole life to live. And they know if you've been in love.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Listen to people. But sometimes you can't listen to your feelings. Sometimes you got to think about, this is what I think about. That's why I've been with you. And I made that vow, forget paper, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just
Mm-hmm.
me and you, right? And I made that vow to get with you. I'm not going to leave you now because you're broke.
Yeah.
I'm not going to leave you because you're sick.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So you got to be real careful talking about what everybody else thinks about, because we back on what Leonard said earlier now. That really ain't your business, because sometimes y'all don't always tell folks to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you tell people to do stuff out of feeling. And I don't think we should operate out of feeling. We have purpose. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes we got to go through things because of purpose. You know what I'm saying? But again, before you go to making some of these moves, you know what I'm saying? You need to check in with God first, because you're right. Whatever he put together, you can't break apart either. Talking about let no man, you could try to break it apart and you ain't going to be able to do it either. While you're playing, because you're playing with him.
Mm-hmm.
Then you check in, make sure you're doing the right thing. Make sure you're with the right person. Make sure you're doing the right thing because it's God's will. Because he's going to have his way no matter what, even if you might think it's strange. And even if we don't understand it, at the end of the day, trust me, he's having his way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Now, Tucson, sometimes a person, and we talk about the different reasons why a person would get a marriage, and that marriage would lead down the road of divorce. Sometimes people marry each other for the adult activities that they have together. They fall in love with the way they make a person feel physically, and for that reason, they think that this have to be my husband, or this have to be my wife. And then when you really get to know that person for who that person really is outside of the bedroom, y'all can't be together for 10 minutes. Talk to me, Tucson.
No, that way out. That way off.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, no, not most of the time, a lot of time. That's why they got all these baby mamas and baby daddies.
Mm-hmm.
Because of feel good. If you don't feel good, wear out.
Mm-hmm.
Feel good ain't got no mouth. Well, let me change that. Had to
Lord Jesus. Oh, here we go. Leonard, here we go.
I had to rethink that.
Mm-hmm.
But it don't, let me say, don't talk.
Mm-hmm. You took a turn there.
Feel good don't have an attitude. The attitude don't come out.
Mm-hmm.
It's suppressed by emotional, boy, they know how to put it on.
Mm-hmm.
Put it, yeah. But then you find out you sleeping with a fool or an abuser,
Yep.
and it's more than physical abuse, for sure. Okay, you know, they crazy for real. I'm talking about the type of
Certified.
medication ain't gonna do them no good.
So they
They
certified.
they they hadn't even diagnosed that type of stupid.
Good Lord.
I'm telling you, and they pretty as a peach, Georgia peach, matter of fact.
And look at you keep saying anything about these Georgia peaches. I'm starting to worry about you and these Georgia peaches, Tucson.
Look,
I'm starting to worry.
he always throw that out there. I think Donnie, you burning up the highway or what? You coming through here at night? What you doing now? You sending for it? What's going on?
Look at
That I ain't gonna lie though. That Georgia peach that roll
You
off a lot
still,
better than that baby hair though.
you still keep coming out, You still keep coming out,
yes,
I'm
sir.
just
Yes, sir.
saying. You been here
And,
before or something. Come on now. What's going on?
and, we, and we go talking about
But
that.
look, when they get to the point that you can shut that highway down, that's some kind of crazy right there.
Lord. And Rico talking about Georgia peach come off a little better than baby hair. I don't know,
Oh my
bro.
goodness.
Look, I don't know. What's on your heart, Rico?
Yeah, everybody pretty much hitting it out the park, man. I mean, I go along with what Leonard said because I have this idea in my mind that when you get married, you're supposed to automatically know that this is for the long run. This ain't for, well, if I get mad or I don't get my way or something start going wrong, we ain't going to work on it and try to make things better. And we're going to go through all these trials and tribulations together through thick and thin. No, I mean, and don't get me wrong. Sometimes you don't deserve to have that when you just completely abuse that spouse and abuse those vows. You know what I mean? Somebody had to put their foot down and say, well, you know what? We supposed to be in this till death do us part. And true enough, I do love you to the point where if your health went completely downhill, I want to be there for you. But you cannot keep going out here getting these babies on me. And you ain't even giving me none at night. We used to do it all the time. And I can count on one hand how many times we done did it the past decade, but you out here making more babies. I ain't got to put up with that. So, the thing is that once again is a situation where the marriage can end because of somebody being mistreated, being done wrong. And I'm one of them type of people that genuinely I'm gonna do you right from the very beginning. If I ain't got nothing to do with you, you had to do something. And I ain't gonna even lie, you ain't just do it one time, you done did it too many times to the point where I finally just done said, man, you know what? No more chances. I try to give him a chance at first, I try to give him the benefit of the doubt. It is over. Oh man, why you cut them all the way off like that? Why you just end it? Because y'all just don't know. It wasn't just this situation. It was other situations that led up to this. Just let me know, you know what, man, they're not for me.
Exactly, Rico.
And it is over. We can't get along anymore. Once I've told you what my problem is, and you couldn't change it, you cheating, whatever it is you're doing, and you still kept doing it, you let me know you didn't love me at all. Or you didn't love our children enough to say what we had going on. You wanted to do what you wanted to do, whatever the reasons were. So I'm out of here. And don't come back. We can't be friends. Because if we were really friends or we really loved each other, if you really loved me like I loved you, you would have stopped when I came to you and told you that you fixing to end this thing that I have invested my heart and time in, and that you claim you were doing the same thing.
Exactly. Cassandra, we're gonna switch up while staying the same. Cassandra, you there?
Yes.
Does the church look favorable or do the chastise divorce?
No, they don't. I mean, I don't. I think what two people decide to do, they should do, and that's their business. I do agree with that part. With Leonard, if they choose to do counseling and they still decide, with the church, with their pastors, because a lot of times years ago, that's what you would do. Even if
Mm-hmm.
you were contemplating divorce, you would go and see your pastor, you do counseling sessions, you try to work on it. Nowadays, people don't care. The church really don't care. Half the time, they don't even know you and your spouse, especially if you go to a mega church, so they can care less. I mean, because they don't know. Just because they
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I'm not saying they don't care less. That's
Mm-hmm.
wrong.
Yeah.
But no, the church doesn't. They don't care about that anymore. I remember a time when they did care,
Mm-hmm.
but now it's just whatever. Because the pastors are getting divorced as quick as anybody else in the church.
Wow. Wow. Now, have you seen situations, Cassandra, whereas the church, the pastor, the board, or whatever, try to get somebody to stay in a relationship that's unhealthy for them because they don't want to see that divorce in the church, and it may hurt the church to see y'all divorce
That
like that.
happens all the time. That happens
Wow.
all the time, and I've had to over the years. I've had to totally go against the church when they tell a woman to stay in a relationship that is abusive. Don't do that. Now, see, I almost cussed. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry. I almost cussed. No, really, no, really.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. Don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do. To me, that is the worst thing that a pastor can, the church, whoever. And you have Pentecostal churches that talk to women and tell them, and I've had it over the. I'm talking like recently. Stick in there. God gonna make it better, and you getting your ass whipped. Excuse my language.
Mm-hmm. But and it
You know,
it happens a lot. A lot that people would really realize or understand that it does happen. Especially, if the preacher, he's the preacher, and he's been doing all this stuff to this young lady, treating her bad and sleeping around on and all kind of stuff. And now all of a sudden she wants to divorce. They'll tell her, man, no, you can't divorce pastor. You ain't gonna divorce pastor. Uh, Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
I was having to do a little bit of research because something struck me with some of the things that was being said. And one of the things I always found interesting, that a man can sign a bill of divorce to his wife for, something unholy. But for some reason, the wife can't do that to the man. If the man's unclean, it's the wife's responsibility to make him holy again.
Mm.
You know, in the Bible verses, I think I posted two of them. I don't know how to pronounce the D one. The Can one of y'all pronounce that for me?
Deuteronomy.
Deuteronomy.
Mm-hmm.
How do you say that?
Deuteronomy.
Deuteronomy? Wow,
Mm-hmm.
that does not sound like what that was spelled.
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, it's to me, if a man is that unclean to the point that refuses to go to counseling, refuses any help whatsoever, why can't a woman file for divorce at that point? But yet, man can divorce a woman for things of that nature? That sounds a
Mm.
bit contradictory.
Okay. Let's as a matter of fact, right now, let's go back to Cassandra. Cassandra, he posted on Deuteronomy 24, 1 through 4, and First Corinthians, or Corinthian 1, like the old president said, 7 through 10. What do you say? What do you say to that?
uh, Scripture, unfortunately, people use scripture to their advantage, whatever they make it, whatever they want it to be. Unfortunately, instead of what it should be.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't, I don't like throwing scriptures around when things are happening, because that's how it's dangerous, and
Mm-hmm.
people will use scripture to justify what fits them best.
Manipulate.
That's all you can say. That's
Mm-hmm.
it.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
Well, taken into context, you have to understand why that is written the way it's written. Women ain't always had no right to do certain things. This was
Mm-hmm.
one of them. There was a whole system. There's a whole system of marriage there behind that you would have to go through and learn the culture on why it is that way.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was their culture. Now your culture is different.
Mm-hmm.
But when you start looking to those things that you have to fantasize about as opposed to write what's in your face, that's the problem. I don't need my Bible to tell me how to deal with somebody I don't like. This is
Mm-hmm.
why I never had a problem with gay marriage. Because it ain't got nothing to do with me.
Mm-hmm.
If those people want to marry, that's their decision. That's the agreement that they're going to enter in. But now
Okay.
what I can't give you is holy matrimony.
Okay. I'll just read
And
that.
see, a lot of
That's,
people will tell the lie that somehow God is so into this and that. You don't know God like that.
mm-hmm.
Your marriage belongs to you. If you decide to dedicate that to God, that's different. A lot of people get married in churches just because they want their picture for the day. That don't mean
Mm-hmm.
they holy people. And
Mm-hmm.
preachers out here tricking off just like everybody else. So to look at this system as if if it's clean, no. Even that whole issue of divorce was a discussion that was asked by some of the churches later on in the scriptures, even going forward about their behavior and who they
Mm-hmm.
were. I mean, you had to even have certain rules that where if you were going to be a bishop or a deacon, I believe, there was a limit on the number. You could only have one wife
One wife,
because the
yeah.
custom was to have as many as you could afford.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of things that go with the position that you hold within the church that people don't follow.
Mm-hmm.
So when we get to talking about doctrine, this and no, that's a story of people then
Mm-hmm.
and their relationship and their culture. And anybody that's using the Bible, just like people have used the Bible to cause division, anybody using the Bible to force somebody to be with them, you wicked.
Mm-hmm.
You're wicked. And you
Mm-hmm.
obviously are trying to use and take advantage of someone.
Exactly.
So we have to be very careful when we get to talking about doctrine. There's no reason to speak of the doctrine if we don't share the culture.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. We got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Goddess, Kansas
Goddess.
City.
Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
We're
Hi, everybody.
doing good, doing good. Goddess, we're talking about divorce and who does it really impact? If two people decide to get a divorce, does it just impact the people that's getting the divorce, or does it impact other people around them? Is the ripple much larger?
The ripple is huge. It impacts the kids. It impacts your friendships with others. It impacts the family. But it impacts both of you all.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
the impact is huge. I mean, it goes, yeah, your future generations. It impacts because now you got to learn how to deal with how do you get your grandkids together? How do you, it's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends on how the breakup was. Was it a positive or a negative one? When Christmas comes around, and then you got your ex, uh, your ex, and your new one,
Mm-hmm.
and because you gotta respect your ex because y'all got kids together and grandkids together, but your new one you gotta respect him too. So like you want to hope that they both understand each other and respect each other and can come under one whole household.
Mm-hmm.
But and that's in 2022. But I mean 2021. That's asking a lot. Some men are
Mm-hmm.
good and comfortable with that. Some men are not. Um, it's a mess. I mean, I watched one of my sons do it, and he had his baby mama
and his girlfriend, and the baby mama came in and cooked dinner and breakfast, and uh we all got along in the household, which I sat down and I made sure that everybody I had conversations. This is not about you guys now. Y'all made your decision. This is about the children, and we need to come together as a unity. You know, and respect each other.
Exactly.
Respect each other's position.
Good deal. Good deal.
And that sneaking around on the other side is not going to work.
Not going to work. No, not at all. So it does impact. The ripple is huge. We got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
My name's She, man. I'm calling from the G. Detroit.
She.
What up, though?
Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Yeah, I wanna give a special shout out to my man Raheem on his birthday. Happy birthday, homeboy.
Hey, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, brother. Definitely appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a question while you're here, though. We're talking about divorce and who does it really impact? Does it just impact the two people that's getting divorced, the husband and wife, or is the ripple much larger than that? Does it impact a lot wider radius than just those two? What do you say to that? Who does divorce really impact?
Divorce impacts everybody. It impacts everybody. The kids, the in-laws, extended family, everybody is affected. The ones that it impacts the most are the children, because their family structure, their foundation has been shook up, has been broken up. And even if it's quote unquote amicable, some people are very civil, going through divorce, they still cool, all of that, but it still negatively impacts the children because of parenting time. Your kids start off with both parents in the home, and that's how it should be. And so they're getting what they need. But then when the divorce happens, you have now all of a sudden two separate homes. And that really affects the psyche of a kid. And it's hard for us to understand because we're grown. But when you have a tender child who has to take their clothes with them to school because, after, we going to mama house. Okay, now we transporting to daddy house, and you constantly taking your clothes, gotta change clothes all the time, and you got your stuff over daddy house and some more stuff over mama house. And here's what I tell, here's one of the things that hit me before, because I've been divorced. And one thing I realized is no matter how well we manage that time, what you cannot get away from is that when we were together, my kids were with me 100% of the time, and they were with their mother 100% of the time. But when we divorced, that time that they're with their mother, they're not with me. And that time that they're with me, they're not with their mother. They need to be with both of us all the time, but instead that time is cut, it's fragmented, and so there's a deficiency there that you cannot avoid. That thing that they need from me, they can't get fully because they're not with me fully. And that thing that they need from their mother, they can't get that fully because they're not with her fully. So that it's always going to impact the kids more than anybody.
Wow. Rico, and that makes sense, man, because when now you're dealing with instead of one household where y'all together in the same household, now there's two households, possibly two different sets of rules and how the houses are being governed and stuff like that. So the children, there have to be an adjustment. You go here, you have maybe a little more lax, but you go over here, it's a little more tight the way they run the household, and so it does impact the children greatly.
Yeah,
what do you say to that, Rico?
It's definitely that tug of war. You know what I'm saying? I witnessed that firsthand. It's his turn to pay for this or pay for that. We ain't paying for it this time. Or having those two sets of rules. You go one place and then you got these rules. Man, he hit it on the head, man. I was that child that took a paper sack. This was before they had the plastic bags. You know, they had the paper bags. I was the one that took that to school with my clothes in it. And my friends didn't understand, you know what I'm saying, why you got those clothes. Well, when I go to my grandmama's house, when I get out of school, my daddy coming to pick me up. Hopefully, if he watching, he know what I mean by that, because that joker was one of the worst ones to tell me, I'll be by there in a minute, and wouldn't show up till the next weekend. So, I mean, you know, but that was still part of it. You know, that was just an extra part of it, you know, personally. But that was still, you know, a life that really and truly, man, that's so damn normal, you know. And nowadays, a lot of children got it worse than that. They got it a lot different. It is evolved, and I'm gonna say devolved into a worse situation. You know what I'm saying? You got weekend families or every other week families. You know what I'm saying? Every other holiday family. And it goes back to what you were saying earlier about the judicial system getting involved. But it's necessary. It is necessary because, you know, you have some people that were the dominant side in the marriage. They were the abusive side in the marriage. And so if you split up from them, they're not going to be fair. They're not going to let you see the children when you're supposed to see them. I mean, right now, I got to get the courts involved. I got a court case in the next 40 minutes. I got a hearing, you know what I'm saying? And I got to go through the courts to be a father. Not to be financially responsible as a father, but to have a bond in a relationship and just to even be able to talk to him when I want to talk to him or when he wants to talk to me. Let's take me out the picture, put him in the picture. When he wants to talk to me, I got to go to court to get the right for him to be able to access me, his guaranteed right. You know, so yeah, sometimes it is necessary for the courts to get involved because the situation between marriages has devolved so much. You know, the whole meaning behind it has been lost. The whole meaning behind marriage and matrimony and being, you know, united, it's been lost. And so with that purpose being lost and nobody really having a true understanding of what a marriage is supposed to be and why it's supposed to be that way, these children are still going to end up being what I was.
Wow. Toya with a T, talk to me, sis, man. It's so much, man, and people sometimes don't realize the impact that it does have on the children and the adjustments that they have to make as kids.
You know, sometimes we don't care. We just all sat here and said that we know is wrong, but yet and still a lot of us still knew that for years and still went and slept with people without marrying them. Still ended up have kids with people we know we weren't gonna get along with, like we do all the time. We know the rules of thumb. We know what God said. We know what our parents teach us. And even though we know it's not how effectful with it, we still go out here and still make some of the same twisted decisions. You understand what I'm saying? So that's a we problem as humans. You know what I'm saying? We gotta find something to fight for. And if family gonna be what it is, and that's what we gotta be what it is. A lot of us always know we just don't do it. You know, we still encourage others to take some of their royal oaths type. You know what I'm saying? Instead of no, don't be having sex with nobody until you make sure they're the right person. You don't want to be sleeping around with a bunch of people. You know what I'm saying? Because we know that divorce is bad for everybody. But still, you know, so in your royal oaths, right? Because you want to make a baby because everybody's not responsible. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like at the end of the day, somebody somewhere got to stop. To stop where you are. Relationship, home relationship, kids, no kids, and just focus on what's the task at hand. And whatever situation you in, just focus on how you can make it better for the youth. For whatever kids you got, whatever kids you done made, you start break this thing down to them, let them know they love. You know what I'm saying? To move forward. And oftentimes it's not the case. A lot of us are terrible people. A lot of us are terrible people. That's why we get divorced. A lot of us are terrible people, and that's what's wrong with kids. A lot of us are terrible people, and that's why a lot of the things are going on. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't necessarily have to be with, you know, about divorce. It has to do with what we do and the choices we make as individuals. Because everything could be all perfect. Your parents could be all perfect. Still don't mean that you're going to be the kind of person that's not going to sleep around and not make a bunch of babies and not just be a terrible person. Period.
Wow, that's good. Cassandra, what's on your heart? We got a few more minutes before we get out of here.
Yeah, when it comes to divorce and the children, it's extremely painful for most kids, especially if they're of age and the dad or mom, has been around because sometimes the father gets the children. It's extremely painful for kids to go through that. I've worked with kids that actually had to have psychological counseling because they could not handle the fact that their parents were not going to be together
Yeah.
anymore. So we gotta think about all that when we get ready for divorce. You don't stay together because of the kids, but you make sure that if you can be amicable, that you plan how you're going to tell the children. Are you going to get them counseling if you see that they're struggling with the fact that you're getting a divorce? And that's just parental responsibilities on both parts.
Exactly. That's good. That's good. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
I like what Cassandra said. Like I said before, it's the children's interests that need to be put, you know, considered, and you need to explain to them exactly why it's happening, what they can expect, and you should also be working on the best way to get it accomplished. Because it's not the child's fault, and if the child thinks it's their fault, that's a whole nother issue that has to be looked at. Because one, you don't want this behavior to get out of hand, especially because it's not most of the time it's not true. And
Yeah.
people who, if people say what I wouldn't do and this, that, and the other, I was like, work on it if you still love one another and you have a desire to be together. However, don't be stupid.
Exactly. Absolutely.
The marriage belongs to you, no one else.
Badger.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Hello?
He must have got stuck all of a sudden.
What
Well,
was he asking me?
he was asking you, I believe, your closing remarks on the issue.
Oh, it just the whole point of like, if you're gonna get in a relationship, do your best to really know the person. And if you end up getting married and years down the road they become highly abusive, either try to get them help, and if they don't want the help, walk away.
And I think that's what the issue, because you can't stay married based on what other people want.
Exactly. Like,
That's not cool. And things are made to adjust to. So everybody in that family will adjust. It's just how you go about that adjustment.
and to me, if the family really cares about either one of them, they'd understand why if they're getting a divorce based on
They
abuse,
should.
they should understand
They
and be
should.
accepted of it.
Right. And
But
I
if they
think
treat you, sorry,
and I think that's one of the biggest issues. Sometimes like people overstep their boundaries and insert themselves in other people's situation. I would never I would help any brother or what have you that wanted some advice or clarification. But even with counseling and things, not everyone is married for the same reason. Not everyone is married because they believe that it's something that God wants them to do or God is sending them a mate. That is not why everybody get married. People get married because they think that they are that much in love with a person that they want to be with them forever and share everything that they have. This is why most people get married.
yeah, and that to me, that's where that love kicks in thing, you know.
Yes.
But at the same time, I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to do it to your detriment,
Yes.
because spiritual death to me is just as real as physical death.
And the reason why some people be together may not be a good reason why you should still stay together with someone.
Good deal. Good deal. I'm back, y'all, and I actually, Badger, I was coming to you when I got kicked out. I don't know if you heard me or not, but I was actually coming to you. But I heard that you did address the situation, so that's a good deal. We're good. Let me go back to she. She have anything on your heart, brother?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what I wanted to say, is there an echo?
I don't hear it. Y'all hear an echo? Anybody hear an echo?
Okay. Yeah, let me put it in my AirPods. I hear an echo on my end. Hold on.
Okay. And Leonard, did you hear an echo, Leonard?
No, I
It was a
didn't.
slight echo. I mean, very slight.
Yeah, there's an info.
Okay.
Okay, so let me just get this out because I gotta roll anyway. But we talked about marriage and how it relates to how it affects the kids. But there are a lot of people who get married and they don't have kids. And so I don't want to walk away from this conversation without stressing that the kids, even though they are affected significantly, are probably affected more than anyone else. However, whether you have kids or not, divorce is detrimental because it's God's union. It's detrimental because we're disobeying God when we do it. When we enter into holy matrimony with God's blessing, let what God put together, let not man put asunder. And we don't want to make light of disobeying what He said. We should enter into marriage with the full intention on it being for life, and me included, because I was one who got a divorce myself, and I know the spiritual implications of that. God knows what He's talking about, and if God hates the divorce, then so should we, whether we have children or not. The divorce is going to affect everybody regardless, but especially in a spiritual sense, which snowballs to so many other things. Because God said it, we shouldn't do it.
That's good. That's good.
I want to add something real quick.
Okay.
So, just for looking at it from that point of view, and like I did, I pulled up 2 verses talking about how, the marriage is not, you're not really supposed to get a divorce, according to biblical text. It also depends on which version you're reading. If a woman is supposed to, okay, based on Corinthians 7:10 and 11, I'm just going to say a section of it. Where is it? That if any woman has a husband that is an unbeliever, so if there are guidelines that are in the text that give these guidelines that if this situation or this situation is happening, this picking and choosing is and not holding men responsible for living right, it, to me, is one of the causes of the situations we have today.
Okay. Let me say this because it's 10:02. We really got to get out of here. I'm gonna touch a few more people real quickly because my wife is waiting on me to take me out to eat. So I'm gonna say what you just said. I'm gonna respond this right here, and somebody else can say something different if you feel differently about it. But my thing is, if he is an unbeliever, if he is, if she's married to a man that's an unbeliever, that's open for interpretation because was he an unbeliever when they first got married? And if that be the case, then she's already gone against what it says because it says that you should be equally of equal yoke. And if he's an unbeliever, if she's a believer and he's an unbeliever, then at that particular time they're unyoked. It's not yoked together. And so for her to marry him, I think, and this is just my opinion, this Rahinism, if there's any such a thing, they're off base already. They're already off base. They're already off center. Toussaint, let me see. Is Toussaint back with us? No, Toussaint just hung up. Sandra, what do you say to that?
Yeah. Are you saying about being with an unbeliever and the difference?
Yes. Yeah. Because his point was, if the husband is an unbeliever, and then her responsibility is trying to do this and do that. I understand that part, and she do have a responsibility if he's an unbeliever. But are they even supposed to be married? Because if she's a believer and he is not, are they not unequally yoked?
Yeah, they're unequally yoked, but people do it. People do it all the time.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't have an opinion one way or the other because you have to decide whether you want to deal with that. So,
Mm-hmm.
but scripturally, you should not be with an unbeliever.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a choice that people make.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal. Let me see who like I want to touch a few people. Peter, what do you say to that, man? What's on your heart? Give me your real quick version because I got my wife waiting on me at home. I got to get out of here. What's on your
All
heart,
right, well,
brother?
I gotta go sidebar commercial. Happy
Oh
birthday.
Lord.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday
Leonard snowing over
to
there.
you. Happy birthday
Good deal.
to you, to you, Raheem, my brother. Happy birthday, celebration of life, solar return.
Hey, appreciate you, brother. Definitely appreciate you. And I want all y'all, if y'all could do something today, man. I don't want any, for myself, I don't want any gifts, man. But if you see anybody that's in a need or something like that, and if you could do something to pay it forward to help them, please do that and do that. Do that. That's my birthday present today. If y'all could do that, y'all see anybody that's in a situation and they need some assistance from you, please help them. Please help them. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother? Give me your quick version. We gotta get on out of here. Rico, come to you
Well,
next.
yep. Which, like I say, peace and blessings to
Okay.
everybody. Make sure you are secure in your decisions. If you need help, get help.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal. Let me see who else I got on my phone lines here. Okay. Got okay. I addressed both of them. Baz, you have anything real quickly, brother?
Uh, I mean, to me, if
Quick,
he or
quick.
she makes the other
Mm-hmm.
person believe that they are a believer, and then after marriage they show their dark side, sometimes each situation is its own situation. But don't let other people tell you what creation can tell you on your heart,
Mm-hmm.
because your connection to creation is yours.
Absolutely. Leonard, what's going on at 3 o'clock today, sir?
And if you did not get a chance to hear this show in its entirety, you can log on to www.dkmmediagroup.com at 3 o'clock Eastern today.
Good deal. Now, shoot, I need you to pray us out, brother.
Sure thing, Father. We thank you, Lord God, for this topic, and we pray that the listener and the viewer got something out of it, that they will be transformed as a result of hearing your heart. I thank you, Lord God, for this platform and every panelist, every caller, everyone who has participated and contributed to this discussion. I pray that you would add a blessing to them and their family, Lord God. I thank you for 2022. And speaking of blessings, I ask that you would bless Raheem on today on his birthday and his wife. I pray that they can enjoy it as much as possible. And Lord God, continue to bless everyone that's involved in this entity here. We give you all glory, we give you all honor, and we give you all praise. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen. Hey, She, did you have anything to say about that unequally yoked thing, real quickly, brother?
Well, let me say, I'm not going by Raheem's opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going by what the Word of God says.
Come on.
And the Word of God breaks these things down,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of what Raheem thinks about it.
Come on. Mm-hmm.
This is just my opinion.
Come on now.
I don't flow like that.
Yeah.
I don't come with my own opinion
Mm-hmm.
unless God didn't speak on it. There's some things that God made very clear in the scriptures, and so being unequally yoked. Listen, I think Badger brought the scripture up about if someone who is unbelieving,
Mm-hmm.
when you marry the unbelieving, there are things that are laid out for that. I think it's in First Peter. Talks about what you're supposed to do. We're not called to bondage, but we also are not expected to put them away.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they want to put us away, then we don't force them to stay, but we're supposed to love them. It talks about how the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the believing wife. And I'm not going to go into all of the teaching of it, but it's right there in the word.
But there are some things that the Word of God has to say about that basically eliminate my opinion about it. I'm just going to make my opinion what the Word of God says.
Good deal.
So
Good.
we're all called to love regardless. At the end of the day, God is love, and He still hates divorce.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're about to get out of here, man. My daughter, thank you, bro. My daughter said happy birthday. I appreciate it. Well, again, I'm asking each and every one of y'all that's listening. We got quite a few people that's tuned in today. I definitely appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. If you get an opportunity today, and not just today, I'm just saying today, but if you get an opportunity to do something good for somebody, please do it. If you can, if it's something that you're able to do, please do it. Take an opportunity and do something good for somebody. You know, there's a feeling for helping somebody else, man, that you could get that. You know, it's real hard to duplicate that. Do something good for somebody and just witness it and view it for yourself. If you can do that. It is now 10:09. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DK Media Group and the associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your day. Like, again, it's 10:09. You're about 10:10. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And then we shine some of this light on you from the morning glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. Get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. Love you. And please take care of each other. Be blessed.